that's near the graves. You need a shovel near these things.
Yeah, might incent some early South World routing. Unfortunately, it's just a key to pod.
Yes, and Lynx is rich. He has 300 rupees in his house.
Alright,
So
so
it's
we
a
got
pretty good start.
Sabo going up to the castle, Oyster going south, and looks like we're seeing that Houlihan play from both Zaphod and Hitaka.
Ironically, it's the two players who haven't got the 300 rupees from Link's house.
Yeah,
and I'm
they'll,
not sure the other runners will do the Holy Hand strat now that they got that much money.
Yeah, well, if we see something like an early Flippers, or even just an early fake Flippers, was that a hookshot at the uncle?
Definitely.
Oh my gosh, sab0tender with the early great item drop there. But yeah, with all this money that our two right side runners are going to have, there's going to be a lot of potential for Zora at the start.
And we have a hammer at the race game. This seed could be over soon.
Yeah, I'm starting to think Death Mountain access into Harrow when I see those two items, but either way, that's a heck of a start. sab0tender, though, before he goes to the village area, he's going to go south.
That's an interesting strategy. Because he'll be missing on the Moon Pearl to Fate Flipper. Well, not he would be missing on the Moon Pearl, but he's missing on opportunities. Glove. Yes.
I think he's saying, I want to use that hook shot. I want to use my 4 bombs, because that was his triple. And I want to hit the mini Moldorm cave really early. And I like that. Because if he gets a flute, if he gets a bottle, those are 2 fetch quests he can take off while he's there.
Yeah, that's a good strategy.
And it looks like just a big 20 in the library.
Not something they will go back for.
You'd think not. Alright, so Oyster going in to buy bombs, while Zaphod and Hitaka pick up that hammer from the race game. I'm really curious what sab0tender is going to find in Moldorm Cave.
And we have a sword. 5 rupees, a small key to Ganon's tower. A hot container and some bombs, so not really much of anything, but we have a sword at least.
Yeah, the other runners will get there soon, but I also don't think Sabo wasted any time by going there. You know, a lot of this early routing, unless it really breaks the game open, ends up pretty even for all runners.
Yes, I believe it will end up pretty even for all of them. And he's going straight to the sewer's escape port, now that he has the gloves.
Bottle vendor, taking 100 rupees, giving you 20 back. You know, given that that puts you towards buying more bombs, I'm kind of okay with that trade. And a small key to ice and a small key to Palace of Darkness at the back of Escape.
So we already have 2 keys to the Palace of Darkness right now, I think.
I think that's right.
And we have the Moon Pearl in the well that Oyster just found.
There's your Dark World access.
Already. Well, Oyster does not have immediate Dark World access because they are missing the gloves. But we know they are very soon in the seed, too.
Yeah, I don't think any runner will take more than 15 minutes at the outside to get Dark World access here.
This can evolve into a pretty interesting race, because Dark World is pretty harsh on players. The enemies hit very hard.
Yeah, so I'm curious if anyone wants to gamble.
Yeah, if they want to take a quick gamble.
We got some great sync on the left side here, but nothing too great. Just the mushroom of value from the Thief's Hut.
Yeah, it may take a long time before we get to see what the mushrooms holds for us.
Yeah, that's a long way to go without the flute for just one check, especially when you've got, as we pointed out, Dark World access right now.
But they could also get there, I mean, with the mirror, doing some north overworld check.
Oh yeah, if you route that in with the Catfish and Zora play. Well, there's a very early Bombos in the forest.
That's quite nice to have, because it gives access to killing the enemies in Ice Palace, and maybe opening one of Mire or Turtle Rock.
Well, speaking of Turtle Rock, just a compass for there from Oyster, and he's going to save and quit out of there. So no check of Lumberjack Cave yet, which, you know, a lot of runners put off until they get the boots.
Yeah, it's a decision I definitely agree with, especially in Keysanity, since you don't only need the boots to access this, but you need the lamp and the sword to go beat Ganon, and you also need 2 keys.
Yeah,
Specific
personally,
keys, yeah.
I often wait, and it's only when I see those 2 keys that I start thinking, okay, maybe I have to do Aga Tower here. Alright, so Zaphod and Oyster headed down to the south part of Light World. They're going to get that glove. That will be Dark World access for them. And sab0tender's headed to the race games, so Dark World access incoming for him as well.
And I think Hitaka will be following pretty soon with this, but they will be checking the Lumberjack Cave.
And worth pointing out, I think we did see a sword out of the village somewhere. So sab0tender then has 2 swords, compared to everyone else's 1, that is probably going to become a Master Sword pretty quickly.
Also, Lumberjack Ledge had a red potion bottle, so probably not something they will want to go for.
Almost certainly not something they want to go for, until it is.
Unless they get no other bottle and Sidkid has progression, which is very unlikely.
Let's hope that doesn't come to that, as Oyster takes an unfortunate death in Mini Moldorm Cave.
Yes, sometimes that happens. The Mini Moldoms are not very nice.
No, they aren't. So he's going to bail and head up to the castle. Hitaka also grabbing that hookshot right now. And Sabo's going to show us a very early hype cave if he can survive this onslaught.
Well, I never thought we'd be seeing a hype cave so early. The seed.
Problem is, there's no hype. Okay, there's the flute.
Yeah. There's quite some hype.
I will retract my statement and instead celebrate the presence of the flute tonight.
So very early hype cave play that will pay off well for sab0tender.
Oh yeah, he's going right now to activate his flute. And with hookshot, he might head straight up the mountain and to East Death Mountain.
Oh my god, that's so many items he can get right now, and they're all in the logic.
Yeah.
Except for the old man's item.
I expect he and most of our runners tonight would be able to do those dark rooms. Meanwhile, Zaphod made his way to Ice Rod Cave and came up empty-handed, and Hitaka and Oyster doing escape.
Well, now that they have a sword and a hammer and a hookshot and everything, it's a good idea to do it now, because probably most runners will end up doing it anyway.
Yeah. And sab0tender's routing working out really well here. He's got the flute, and he skipped doing the forest area earlier, so he can just grab that on his way into town.
That's a really nice play, and maybe gamble too, not doing the forest the first time.
Maybe it's a good thing that worked out for him. Zaphod's done the fake flippers. He's visiting the hobo. Let's see if there's anything there.
Also, we got blue mail in the escape that Hitaka and Oyster are going to have from now on.
I bet Sabo's going to be kicking himself when he gets that. He probably wished he had that for the Dark World.
Yeah, with only 4 hearts, that's 2 hits before he gets killed by most enemies in the Dark World. So there's definitely some risk in there.
Hitaka's going to do South Dark World. I thought for a second he was going to straight to Hype Cave, which would have been tricky, but he'll be fine with this. He'll even get to 4 hearts.
And we're already going to see a mushroom check, while Zephod is completing his Fate Flippers journey with the Waterfall Cave.
Early book.
Waterfall Cave holding even more money for Zora, just in case you didn't get into the Holy Hand room.
Just in case you didn't have 500 rupees, here's 300 more. And it looks like just a piece of heart on the ledge, so Flipper's not required for that. We're going to see what Zaphod can do here, and if this trip was worth it for him. Meanwhile, if you look to your bottom left, you won't see sab0tender doing dark rooms because he's in the dark.
And Zora had a very interesting item right there, the mirror.
Oh my gosh, Zaphod with the sequence break that could give him a lead as long as he keeps track of where those flippers were.
Not even a sequence break, since he has the power gloves.
Oh,
it's
of course.
entirely in the logic.
Of course it is.
So very interesting that we have so much money early on, and Zora had a progression item.
Someone in chat pointing out, this looks like it could be a swamp play from Zaphod. You know, obviously Hype Cave is right here. But if he's comfortable doing swamp with 4 hearts and green mail, it is pretty much clearable.
Yes.
Except for that small key he doesn't have.
Yeah, that will put him off quite soon from swamp.
Oh, and of course, flippers.
Yeah, to enter it. Even before the small key. You know what's interesting, I think, with Sabo's play? Is that so early he can check the Ether tablet and get the item there. Now that he has the book. And this is not something we see very early. And it seems the 5 and 6 crystals are... I forgot them. Skullwoods and...
Skullwoods and Desert Palace.
Oh yeah, right.
Sabo so far found a small key for a castle tower. Lamp technically locks the rest of that. And there's a bottle, so Lumberjack Dream is dead, people. I'm sorry.
Yep. Lumberjack definitely not longer needed. But he has the bug net.
Very, very important. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll see him going up to fight Ganon with the bug net. He does have a race to run, much as I know we'd like to see it.
We have a powder in the Start of Grave cave.
Oh geez, this seed is just giving away items like candy at the start. So Hitaka's doing that same old man play, it looks like. But Sabo is going to show us that ether check 15 minutes into the game, which is a welcome surprise.
This is amazing. This is full of things I haven't seen before so fast in Keysanity.
Yeah, at the same time as Sabo's doing that, Zaphod is overdoing the digging game. Digging and digging and digging. Let's see if he can come up with anything at all.
Just a compass.
I wasn't counting digs, but that seemed like too many for what you got out of it.
Not worth it. And we have a single rupee in the Hera. Well, I think we had a shield in the basement, so nothing really interesting there.
Yeah, Sab is going to be a bit disappointed with that. Hitaka showed us a spiral cave, or spectacle rock cave check, but that didn't seem worthwhile. Sabo
OysterSA.
Oh, go ahead.
OysterSA seemed really pleased having the 300 rupees from the waterfall chest. And he's now going to get his mirror too.
And with, oh my gosh, a Titan's Mitt from the powder?
Oh wow. What a great play from Zaphod.
That's incredible. You know, I was looking at Sabo's early routing, and it was very good. But Zaphod has really made the play here by being the first to get Mirror that led to Powder that now gives him Titan's Mitt. He can do all of Dark World Death Mountain in one pass.
If only they had the hoodshot to help them. But, well, they can go to the east side with the hammer, but the hoodshot is definitely a useful item.
Yeah, and you want Hookshot Cave if you're going all the way there.
Definitely.
Zaphod, go to your uncle.
Well, there's so many items available right now, I'm not sure they will go to the uncle right now.
No, with so many different possibilities, I can't even guess where each runner's going to try to go. Zaphod, it looks like, is headed to the Dark World, and doing that whole Outcasts area, I don't blame him in the slightest for not doing Castle. And Hitaka checks the floating island. It's just a big 20.
Smokey to Thieves Town and Skullwoods.
Oh, that's a nice start. I hope he comes up with the big key as well, so we can just go and clear that once he's done here.
And we have the map of Thieves Town too.
Give me more Thieves Town. Give me more Thieves Town.
What is this called? Was the Thieves Town starter kit? Okay, so here's a key, then there's a map to find it, I guess, on your map.
I don't think we've seen a good map check from any of the runners yet, and Chad, as you probably already know, in Keysanity you need those maps to even know which dungeons have crystals and which one have pendants.
At least we already know the locations of the 5 and 6 crystals. We don't know anything else.
No, we don't even know where the green pendant is because no one's been to Eastern Palace or Sahasrali yet, because why would you go there when you have the entire rest of the world open to you at 19 minutes?
Eastern Palace is an early play we often see, but in this case, no. Don't need to do that.
And there's a Bloomerang for Zaphod in the back of Skullwoods. He's getting pretty low on health here. Understandable, since he's got 4 hearts in green mail that he's trying to do this dungeon with.
Definitely understandable. And I think we just saw a crystal in Eastern Palace by Hitaka.
Well, at the very least, he's headed over that way, so we'll finally get us a Sahasrali check from one of these runners.
And here's the shovel in Ayanim's tower.
sab0tender electing not to go further up the castle. Even though he has that one small key, he doesn't want to go ahead and do that dark room right now. And it looks like Hitaka, at the back of Sahasrarlo's hut, found the big key to the Tower of Hera.
Which is very nice.
Yeah.
Since I don't think they've gone up this mountain yet.
No, Hitaka hasn't. So, you know, if he wants to do the long way around, or if he manages to visit Zora first, that'll be an early Hera available to him.
Definitely.
Turning in that shovel to get an Ether Medallion, there's a chance. A chance
This could be.
that could be required.
And we have a small key on the ledge. Also, while Hitaka was checking Sahasrar's, we learned that Palace of Darkness was a green pendant.
So all those early pod keys not pointing towards finishing the dungeon maybe, but still making me think, hey, there's got to be something good there.
I mean, there's 14 chests in that place.
Something
there's a good chance.
I like that.
Useful. There's a very good chance.
sab0tender gets the Mire big key out of desert. Zaphod gets... Oh, sorry, what was that?
No, continue.
I was going to say Zaphod got a Turtle Rock small key out of the graveyard, but I think Oyster found the really great find.
Yes, the flippers in the chess game.
Jeez, all the mobility items, all the value coming out so early in this race.
Yeah, so this seed is really amazing.
There's a Tempered Sword for
My
Oyster.
God. What is this? So this seed is not giving you out many keys, but certainly all the items.
And there's a third pod key for sab0tender from the Desert Ledge. So that could be the point where he says, hey, I want to go in there. But, you know, if you're one of these runners and you see the seed this far open, I think you start getting a bit worried. You go, oh no, there are so many spots to check. What can I do to try to stay ahead of my opponents here?
Yeah, definitely. You really start asking yourself, what's the right play? Because there's so many possibilities.
Well, Sapper just left Desert to find the Desert Big Key. We might see him head back in there.
Meanwhile, Oyster found the Palace of Darkness Big Key in Thieves Town.
Yeah, so that's really pointing to Palace of Darkness now.
And Sabo electing not to go in Desert Palace again with his Big Key.
You know, I don't blame him for that. It is only one chest you can do, and you don't yet have a fire source to go and light the torches.
Yeah. So no way to fight the boss yet.
Oyster, meanwhile, in C-shaped house, found the Skull Woods Big Key. So that is, again, only one location that he can check right now in that dungeon. Might be a while before he goes and does that.
It seems this game is liking to give you the keys after you need them.
Yeah. Kind of nasty. Where's... oh no, sab0tender's not going north. sab0tender's just going into the Dark World because he hasn't found the myths yet. So, welcome again. If you're just joining us, we have 4 racers. Top 2 facing off against each other, sab0tender and Hitaka on the bottom facing off against each other. Top racers being on 2-0 in this tournament, bottom racers being on 1-1. And 25 minutes into this seed, everything is wide open. These runners can go basically wherever they want in the world, and it's going to be up to them to really figure out where this game wants them to be.
Oyster is doing the very long take game, as we know it now. We'll be really disappointed with the price.
I wasn't counting, but that's got to be close to the maximum 30 digs, all for a compass. Meanwhile, Zaphod's been clearing Eastern Death Mountain, and he is the only runner with the mitts right now. I'm not going to be surprised if pretty quickly here he ends up in the Dark World, and we see that first Dark Death Mountain play.
Yeah, I think it's not too far outreach to guess that they're doing Spiral Cave, and we'll end up on the bottom of the mountain just to get back in the Dark World.
I agree. Oyster finds the powder in the Circle of Bushes cave south of the Grove. That does put him one step closer to those mitts at Magic Bat.
And with the hammer in hand, that's definitely something we will want to do soon. Even though I guess most players would want to put it off until they get the mitts, because they can do the frog and the blacksmith, the lunchbox and everything, but yeah, you won't be able to do all that at once.
Yeah, I hate when the seed gives you those items right where you don't want to go until you have them.
That's what you call a troll seed.
We certainly can.
And Oyster doing the early swamp play.
Yeah, since he's the runner who found the flippers, you might as well go in there if you're in the area. It's only one chest you can do without the key.
Only one chest, but that could be something very useful.
And it looks like a crystal at Thieves Town, but our trackers already have that marked.
They're so efficient.
Big shoutouts, by the way, to our trackers tonight, HaHaCell and Itzudemo, who are keeping all those items updated for you and for us so that we can keep track of just how much of this seed the runners have open to them.
And if I'm not mistaken by the Hitaka's map check, Swamp is also a crystal. Where are these pendants?
Much as I hate to say it because I want these runners to have an easy time, Hera's the only big key, or the only dungeon we can complete right now. I'm worried that's going to be a pendant.
There's definitely some risk it can be a pendant. Meanwhile, on the Dark Death Mountain check, we have a small key to Palace of Darkness and a bee in a bottle, or a bee torp. And are we going to see an early Turtle Rock check by Zaphod? But they can't go in the dungeon yet without the Sambaria cane, so it's just a medallion check?
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what medallion's required for that. There's a 2 in 3 chance we've got it already.
And they've got it already.
It's bombos.
So everyone's already got the Turtle Rock medallion?
Yeah, that Ether medallion that Sabo got from the shovel hasn't paid off yet. There is still, of course, that mire option.
Which I'm surprised they didn't check yet, having the flute and the Titan Smiths. But hey, we're going to see that check right now.
And then, maybe then, Zaphod will manage to get over to the castle, get his his hookshot and maybe even a mail upgrade. Oyster finding the red mail on the pyramid there.
And did I see well, but was this an eater on Misery Mire?
I didn't catch it there.
And we have the cane in the Mire shed. Wow.
Oh, wow. So as soon as sab0tender heads to this area, he will be able to go and complete Misery Mire if he wants to do it in the dark.
But I'm not sure they will go there quite soon because they haven't got the mirror from Zora and they're doing the digging game now, so I don't think they will be back for the ledge. The ledge gave very soon.
That's right. The path to myths again in this seed is get the mirror from Zora, get the powder from the circle of bushes, then get the Titan's Mitt from the magic bat. So quite the walk you have to do.
And if you don't do it in the right order, it might be something you want to put off until very late, the seed.
Yeah, I don't like doing any of those checks individually. Zepha did find the key for Swamp Palace, the small one, in Checkerboard Cave.
A really nice place. Oh, and we have a small key on the Desert Torch. Unfortunately, no boots yet for any of the runners, so cannot know what it is yet.
Oh, that could eat away at them for a while.
Also, it seems we got the Misery Mire big key. I think, from Desert.
That sounds about right. And Oyster's in pod.
Soon to be joined by a Hitaka. Meanwhile, sab0tender is doing the Fate Flippers. Well, not Fate Flippers. What am I saying? They have the real ones, but they're swimming.
The fake flippers.
Fate Flippers. Yeah, that's it. So maybe they will get to Zora soon and get the mirror. Oh, Oyster mistakenly using the mirror in pod just before hitting the chest.
Oh, that's a pain.
It sometimes happens. You think you have another item in your Y button, and no, just have a mirror. Woo!
Meanwhile, sab0tender finally making his way over to Zora. Again, when I say finally, it's because he had way too much other stuff to check, not because he was intentionally putting it off or because he should have gone here before. There's just so much for these runners to do.
We're going to see a bomb jump, a hammer jump in Palace of Darkness from Oyster.
That's right, Hitaka passing it by right now, but once he clears out this area, he might be back for it.
Yeah, that's definitely a route we have seen people do.
Yeah, and now that they have the big key for pod, I imagine they're really anxious to get in there.
I wonder if Oyster is also on his way to do the Dark Maze in pod without the lamp, or if they just want to check the big chest.
Well, I would hope if they're going to this trouble to set up the hammer yump, they do what they can and they get all 3 chests that are open to them.
And it's his last bomb, so he won't be able to check it unless he gets another bomb.
Oh, that's too bad.
And what a great pod chest right there. The big key to Thieves Town,
Oh, wow.
which Hitaka just got with a perfect hammer yump.
So that makes me really curious. Where are 2 more keys for Palace of Darkness? Or rather, just 1 more. Because logic says you should have 5 keys before you go opening that chest. They want to make sure you don't ever lock yourself out. So somewhere, there's another pod small key that's available to these runners, or will be before they have to finish Thieves.
Definitely. And in fact, unless they find the bow before unless the bow is locked behind some of pod keys, they might need all 6 keys, logically, to open that chest. So this is a very interesting sequence break.
Again, sequence breaking, completely fine, as long as you can keep track in your head of what you've done and where you've broken it.
Definitely, and sometimes it doesn't even matter. You just go with the flow and try to get as many items as you can. So Oyster has got a bit more bombs now. We'll probably try the hammer yump again with our butter sword. So a really generous seed on equipment for our runners. Meanwhile, Sabo is doing Tower O'Hara. Now that they have the big key and have nearly finished with it.
And we still don't know whether this is going to be a pendant or a crystal, do we?
I don't believe so. And Oyster just ran out of bombs at the Palace of Darkness big chest. So they won't be able to do the Dark Maze just yet. So they're going for Eastern Palace. Our first check. Oof, sab0tender taking a foul at Moldon fight.
Oh no. And this will be Oyster's. Oyster is going to be the first one of our runners to show us Eastern, isn't he?
I believe so. This is fairly late for a Keysanity seed, but given how much was open right at the beginning, it's alright to do it now.
Yeah, again, when we say it's a late check of any given location, that's not because these runners have routed poorly or even strangely. It's because the seed has been too open for them, as hair is just a pendant today.
And we haven't got anything good from Tower O'Hara. We're still missing the basement chest, but we don't want to check it.
No, especially
With
not
the
now.
room. Yeah. And except from having the red mail, our players don't have a lot of hearts right now. Not a very healthy seed.
No, despite everything else this seed has given them, hearts have been in short supply.
And the Hitaka, the final of our players to get the mirror, which we know is the key to even more polyhedron as the seed.
That's right, mirror of course, eventually leading to mitts. But before that you need to get powder from just south of the Haunted Grove, and Oyster's the only runner other than Zaphod to do that so far.
And Oyster didn't get the mitts yet, contrary to Zaphod.
That's right. Now I see Zaphod's going through the castle here. Did he skip Uncle on the way in?
I didn't see him doing Uncle, so I think yes.
I hope he checks that on his way out of here, because hookshot's there and you're not beating this game without hookshot.
I really hope so.
We did see the cape come out of Eastern Palace for Oyster, but we also saw a bumper cave check earlier, and I think it was just 3 bombs, so that cape not too great here.
I don't remember the bumper cave, so it was probably something useless.
So, you know, every Keysanity seed is, of course, unique and special in its own way. I like right here how we're 41 minutes into the seed, 42 minutes in, and no crystals have been collected. Despite, you know, that early hookshot, glove, hammer, mirror, moon pearl combo. We just can't go and get crystals now.
Yeah, but we're pretty well equipped for the bosses. I mean, I think, yeah, half of our runners have the border sword, and three out of them have the red mail.
Oh, absolutely.
Well equipped.
Just give them the keys to go beat a dungeon, and they can take it out.
Just make them fall into the Ganon's fight, and they can take him out.
Almost. Probably. Well, you know, we still need that fire source from somewhere.
Yeah. And Oyster would be really happy to see the myths in the Batcave. And Zaphod, just as we hoped, got his hookshot from Uncle.
Oh, fantastic. Meanwhile, Hitaka took down the Moldorm fight pretty nicely there, but again, just dependent from that drop.
Yep. And I really like Zaphod's play here. They mirrored, well, they placed a portal in the Dark World to the Haru Castle check and everything. And after Uncle, they mirrored right back in the Dark World. Got a little further up and into Ganon Tower.
Well, that's going to pay off. He's got that shovel that he can turn into the Ether Medallion, which we need for Misery Mire.
And they're doing the Agatha Hall Dark Rooms to get to the second chest.
Yeah, this is something sab0tender didn't do when he was in the area, and kind of left me wondering what's he going to get out of it.
And we're getting a pedestal check from the Hitaka at 44 minutes in.
Maximum health increased. A heart container.
Yeah, that's one of the heart containers we were wondering about.
Yeah, we just found one. If you really want to go out of your way, you can grab one. I guess.
Well, he's already 1/3 of the way for that. with his arrow up and dent.
Yeah, it is.
Just complete it. Let's see here. Oyster checking the bomba cave, just 3 bombs. So he's not bothering to take them.
No. And looks like Oyster's then going to head over to the graveyard ledger, which should put him up to 2 Turtle Rock small keys. Again, though, we don't have that cane, so no one's setting foot in Turtle Rock. Or at least not getting past the first room.
Yeah. They thought can set foot in Turtle Rock, but it's a long way to climb the mountain.
Oh, I must have missed that. Where did he pick up the cane of Samaria?
In the Maya shed.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He's just the only one who has access to that.
Yeah, but that was
Oyster
just
picked up the myths.
Yeah. That was just after he checked the Turtle Rock medallion, so probably he didn't want to go in there yet. But with 3 keys, that's certainly something you could go in. If only you had both rods to kill the boss.
If only.
Chat is asking what was on pedestal, just a hot container. A big load of love, if you want. But that's probably not something the Hard Runners will get.
No, almost certainly not. Now, if we look down at the bottom right, Hitaka's making his way through Thieves' Town. This is his first trip there, it looks like. Or maybe his second, because he's going straight to the back.
And with the big key?
That big key that sab0tender just got out of the pod big chest.
I think we're going to see our first restore done in Thieves' Town.
Oh, yes.
That's a classic one, especially with open and standard seeds.
Meanwhile, sab0tender's back in the village area, but not going to that magic path just yet, unfortunately.
And Zephyr's going right in Swamp Palace. Now that they have the small key, they can complete it.
That's right. No big key, so that one big chest is going to go unopened, but they've knocked this off.
They've got the big key cover too?
I'm sorry, I can't see things.
So it will be a full clear of Swamp Palace.
Even better. Small key to Skull Woods for Zaphod. That's not helpful at all for him.
With Hitaka as sprite colors, the maiden seems really pale. I was just wondering if it was a ghost.
You waste away down there for so long. You can start to make that confusion happen.
Yeah, and we got a mirror shield from Thieves' Town big chest. So I think we're fully equipped now.
Yeah, the laser bridge, here we come if we wanted it.
Nothing to fear.
But Hitaka has entered that blind fight, and assuming he knows how to beat this fight easily, which it looks like he does, We're gonna see our first crystal really soon here.
And big keys leading to even more big keys. So the Swamp Palace had a big key to Ice Palace, which is not the most useful one, but hey, it's one more big chest location you can check.
Yeah, and you know, Zaphod may not have the Fire Rod, but he's got Bombos. And the number of times I've seen Fire Rod show up behind something in Ice Palace is just a bit too high for me to not think that's a good play.
Definitely. And we just got the first crystal from Hitaka.
Congratulations, Hitaka.
Really great blind fight.
Someone in chat is asking, wait, how many big keys were in big chests this seed? I don't have an official count, other than too many.
Way too many. I don't like seeds that have all these big keys and big chests. But at least most of them were on their way. Thanks to the good rodding of our racers.
That's right. And Hitaka made his way to that circle of bushes cave, got his powder, and it looks like he's making the play straight over to the smiths.
He will be happy about that. And sab0tender slashing bushes like there's no tomorrow.
Now, speaking of big keys, Zaphod just picked up the eastern big key over on left side swamp.
So big key palace.
That's what it's starting to look like. But, you know, more importantly, I see so many runners skipping left side swamp because, you know, the time investment for 2 chests is not worth it some of the time. If Oyster decides to skip left side swamp, Zaphod just got even more of a lead here.
Well, it's something I see often in open seeds, but open and standard, but I don't see it quite as often in Keysanity seeds. I mean, skipping the left side. I may be mistaken.
I think you and I have just seen different races. Nothing wrong with that. We do have, what, 100 a week?
Wait, you mean you're not watching every one of those races?
I'm sorry.
Shame. It's okay, it's okay.
I'm sorry, I have to sleep.
And Oyster just killed the Moldom with 2 slashes. Because that's what the Border Sword is for.
Killing Moldorm?
Yes. With 2 slashes you have less chance to get rolled.
Now, top of Blinds, or rather Thieves Town. Top of Thieves Town had a pod key there. I think that's that 5th pod key we were worrying about. That puts the Dark Maze of Pod back into play.
Yes. And the Thiefstone big key being in the big chest. That probably means Bo is locked behind all of these things.
Very probably, yeah.
Because if you have the bow, you can waste that key by trying to go to the Helmazor.
Yeah, so we'll have to see what turns up now. Zaphod taking down Argus very quickly, because of course that's what Butter Sword's for. I didn't quite catch what that boss drop was, though.
I think it was an arrow upgrade.
Okay, so...
Or maybe just plain arrows.
Either way, not too great, but hey, that's a crystal. That brings him to a total of 1 as well. Oyster's going to give us a check of Spiral Cave here. I'm a bit sad that he didn't dip into Hookshot Cave, because Zaphod hasn't been in there. He didn't have the Hookshot or the boots earlier. And, of course, the bottom two runners don't have mitts. So, Oyster, you're the one who can show us what greatness is in Hookshot Cave today.
Well, I think we just saw greatness on the Bobo's tablet from Zephod's side.
Oh, what was that?
An ice rod.
Yeah, I'd call that greatness. I'd call that almost certainly required for finishing the seed. And sab0tender takes down blind as well. So that puts 3 of our runners at 1 crystal. Oyster, not with a crystal yet, but still making huge ground in the overworld. I don't blame him for not having dived into any dungeons and completed them yet.
Yeah, it's an entirely correct play. Do more overworld before dungeons. And I think especially in Keysanity, since you need so much more required items.
Oh, do you ever? Now, Zaphod has decided to head into Ice Palace. Make that Bombos play.
So he's going with a spellcaster place on these free zones? Wait, maybe wrong game?
Perhaps.
But hey, yeah, casting Bombos on them is a legit way to kill them. And it's definitely in the logic, even if you maybe don't expect it as much as the Fire Rod.
Yeah, you don't expect it, but I'm not going to be surprised in the slightest if Fire Rod turns up in this dungeon. I'll be excited, but I won't be surprised.
It would be a pretty logical prize. I mean, by vanilla logic. But no, they just decided to put a blue mire here, which is a strange decision, I think, but yeah.
Oh, it's blue mail because the whole dungeon's blue, right?
Maybe? Some kind of Link's Awakening Deluxe thing here?
So sab0tender did go to Magic Bat, got his Titan's Mitt. That makes mitts for 3 of our 4 runners tonight. Oh, and he's going straight to the Mire Shed. I'll be curious to see if he goes into Misery Mire once he gets that cane.
Yes, because he can do it now. Zaphod, when he checked Mire Medallion, he couldn't get in. Didn't have the Ether yet.
Yeah, of course, he is missing that fire source to get the 2 left side chests. And he's missing that lamp to do the dark rooms with. But, if this works out, if he goes in, there could be something great there.
Like the lamp.
Like the lamp, yeah.
And they're opting to check the checkerboard cave first, which is a pretty good idea.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's just that skull small key that we know about, but hey, why not check it before going in? You might, in fact, get the lamp.
It's something that has happened before. And Hookshot Cave was not really useful this time around.
You mean you don't think the red boomerang is a great find when you already have the blue boomerang?
No.
I'm strongly in agreement with you on that.
The only thing I like the red boomerang for is the chain jump room in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and we're a ways from that so far.
Because it's just a good setup to use the red boomerang in, but besides that, I don't ever use the red boomerang for anything over the blue one.
Alright, Zaphod just found another Palace of Darkness small key in Ice Palace. So at least that's something great out of that dungeon. And sab0tender finds the Hera small key in the desert big chest. I can't imagine he's in a hurry to go check that.
So many keys in chest. And Oyster did a spike cave play and found the silver rose in there.
Yeah, I imagine he's more pleased with that than sab0tender is with the Hera key.
It still doesn't have the bow, so not really useful. You cannot stab enemies with your spare arrows, fortunately.
This silly game. All having these rules and things. Logic preventing us from doing things.
So unrealistic.
Alright, so Zaphod looks like he's taking close to a vanilla or intended route to get through this dungeon. Just going to use the cane on the block at the bottom of Ice Palace, and then we'll see him take on Cold Stare. I don't know, is this going to be a pendant or a crystal?
I think we'll find out soon.
You don't want to guess?
If I had to guess, I'd say there's more chances of it being a crystal. So I guess crystal, because I like winning gambles.
Let's play with the odds. Meanwhile, our two bottom runners, both in Swamp Palace, and Oysters doing Thieves Town.
Thieves Town also with a big key and small key, so he will be able to full play it, just like Zaphod did. Oh, not Zaphod, sab0tender. And against the odds, a pendant in Ice Palace.
No. So, did Zaphod get anything useful out of Ice Palace there?
I don't believe so.
Oh, I mean, I think it was a great way to try and do that, but...
We got some pod keys and all, but...
Oh, that's right. There was a pod key that made it up to 6, so definitely required by the logic to go there. Still, you know, playing the odds a good play, but not the best for your time.
Yeah, that may have been a dungeon they were able to entirely skip.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to that big question in Keysanity. How much time do you lose by clearing Ice Palace like that? Or do you gain that time back because your opponents make the same pretty smart play anyways and end up full clearing it as well?
And speaking of Pillars of Darkness, definitely the biggest Keysanity question is, do you hammer jump?
I mean, almost certainly if you can pull it off. The trick is it's not an easy jump to do.
Definitely not. It takes practice and observation skills.
Now, Hitaka's headed back to Desert. He's going to be able to check left side in the big chest with his big key, but I think he's also going to be the first runner who can check the right side with a small key.
Yeah, maybe. Just got a small key Tower of Hera too. I don't think they want to go there soon. But we're an hour and 4 minutes in the seed, and we still have no fire source from any of our runners.
Yeah, for all that exploration they had at the start, there's really not a lot of ways they can keep progressing and finish specific dungeons right now. But let's see what right side of desert holds. Big 20.
And for people wondering in chat that the lamp is maybe on pedestal, well, they know what's on pedestal and it's just a hard container.
Yeah, more and more, I'm getting really anxious about where can that lamp actually still be hiding.
There's
and I'm starting to think, Misery Mire?
Misery Mire or even Turtle Rock. There's a lot of troll locations the lamp or the fire rod could be.
That's right, Turtle Rock. I look at Oyster's tracker, he's got 4 small keys. I look at Zaphod's, he's got 3 small keys for Turtle Rock. Ice Rod's in play, Tempered is in play, Samari is in play. At some point, who's going to be the first one to make that gamble and say, yeah, I want to try Turtle Rock?
Yeah, with our top runners having at least 3 keys to Turtle Rock, they can go all the way to Laser Bridge in the logic.
It's just that age-old problem with Turtle Rock.
Yeah,
it's got 12 chests.
And they can get most of them.
But you don't want to go there. You put it off. And I don't blame you for putting it off because it takes so long to get into.
And then you have to get back into it a second time, and maybe a third time. And it's especially aggravating that they don't even know yet if it's a pendant or a crystal. It's basically 50-50 chance to be either one of them with their current knowledge.
I think at this point Hitaka knows which one it is. But
oh yeah.
Or not Hitaka, I'm sorry. Zaphod will know which one it is because he's beaten Ice, but no one else has that knowledge. And that makes it even less attractive.
Yeah, definitely. So Zaphod should know every one of the pendants, and by extension, every one of the crystals by now.
Now, Hitaka, who I called out earlier, is going to know that fairly soon. It looks like he's going to be doing a full clear of Ice Palace. And Oyster's running that purple chest around the South Dark World. Is that the first time we've seen the purple chest checked?
I think so.
Well, maybe that's what's been messing with us for a fire source for so long.
Looks like we got some sync from Oyster and sab0tender, but sab0tender without the launchbox.
Well, fortunately, it's just a piece of heart, so he's not missing anything there. He's just going to check this Bombos tablet and pick up that Ice Rod.
Gas Rod can put out fires, but not... Yeah, but not generate ones.
I'll be worried if it starts making fires. Oyster checking Aegina's cave. Again, you know, one of those locations you see checked a lot earlier normally, but with all the exploration they had, he doesn't check it until all the options are dwindling. I expect he'll head straight into desert afterwards, but that's not going to help. I think we need a mire play at this point.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the only location we have left to check. Being armed with all the knowledge we have from 4 runners.
Now, Zaphod's going to show us something that I don't think anyone has done before. Other people have done Eastern, other people got the Cape, but he's the first one to check this big chest. For a whack of rupees.
Yes. A rupee hoard. That's what the text for pedestal and tablets call it.
And Hitaka is clearing out Ice Palace, gonna make it to the bottom and be fairly disappointed.
So it has been quite a while since the seed gave us a good idea.
Yeah, after that wide open start we got, it was kind of a go anywhere you want and
get
don't
nothing.
really find anything good in those dungeons that the odds say you should be checking. So Oyster heading into that trap that we know Ice Palace to be. And looks like sab0tender's going to be hot on his heels. We're going to see 3 runners in Ice Palace at once.
Yes. So 3 runners getting disappointed at once. That's a sad sight. But it's a logical one, and I don't blame them for going that way.
No, I don't blame him in the slightest. You have that bomb post to open the dungeon, and you really start thinking, I wonder if there's a reason for this.
Going by their individual knowledge, Ice Palace has a pretty good chance of being a crystal dungeon.
That is the benefit each runner is going to get out of this. Once they're done with it, they're going to know where their crystals are. And, as we mentioned earlier, this is the thing. Zaphod went in there first. It felt like he had wasted his time, but as each other runner does that, he makes that time back. And it ends up being kind of a wash for every runner.
Yeah, it ends up pretty even. And the Hitaka just did a really great coaster fight with the Butter Sword.
Oh, nicely done.
Everyone in the corner and just sit there and slash at them.
And Zaphod, meanwhile, clearing out Thieves Town, going to be the the 4th runner to finish that and get the crystal there. So, if you are just joining us and you're wondering what the heck is going on in this version of Link to the Past, why is Luigi running around in the red mail? Why are they finding keys for dungeons in the wrong dungeons? This is Keysanity, the randomizer variant where we take all the keys, mix them up with every other item in the game, and shuffle them throughout the whole of Hyrule and the Dark World. The runners still have to collect those 7 crystals to get into Ganon's tower and beat the game that way, but they have to route everything on the fly and figure out what they're doing as they go. At this point, Hitaka may be making the great play here. He's got the cane, he's headed to Death Mountain. We said Turtle Rock was way out of the way, but if he dips his head in there, it could put him ahead.
I think they're going for it. Because I believe they already checked Dark East Dirt Mountain.
Yeah, I think every runner's checked East Death Mountain at this point.
To answer Penfold from chat, big keys are also shuffled with every items, as well as maps and compasses.
That's right, and the normal trick that you pull in Randomizer, where you can listen to the music of a dungeon to figure out if it's a crystal or a pendant, that doesn't work because we randomize the dungeon music, because, well, we're about randomizing everything we can here.
Also, as an added usefulness to the maps in Keysanity, the maps tell you whether the dungeon's price is a crystal or a pendant, as opposed to knowing everything from the start in other modes.
That's right. Now, earlier I mentioned, just a couple minutes ago, Hitaka was going to maybe make the play into Turtle Rock. Of course, Hitaka hasn't been to Castle Tower, hasn't opened that first chest, hasn't got Shovel. So without the Ether Medallion from Shovel, Hitaka's not getting into Turtle.
No, they're
I'm
not
sorry,
getting
Turtle
into
Rock is
Mire.
Bombos. Turtle Rock is Bombos. Hitaka can get into Bombos.
They can get into Mire, but Mire isn't there. Now I wonder how fast we will see the lamp or the fire rod in there.
Well, look at Zaphod's screen here. He's also headed that way. We might be seeing two runners checking Turtle Rock at this point. Or maybe Zaphod's just headed to Hera.
Yeah, that's right, they haven't done Hera yet. But that's a long way to get to Hera. Oh yeah, I just thought they were going east that mountain. I just phased out for a second there, I think.
Not to worry.
But yeah, they're definitely going to Hera.
Now the question is, once Zaphod finishes Hera, does he head over to Turtle Rock and get whatever Hitaka's getting here? Or does Zaphod head into Spike Cave and get those silver arrows instead?
I think I would do both. I would head into Spy Cave and then Turtle Rock.
I mean,
But that's entirely to them to decide.
It is their race, not ours tonight, unfortunately. Now, the other risk from Hitaka here is he does not have the big key for Turtle Rock. So he's going to get this chest, he's going to get the vanilla big key chest if he wants it, and that'll be it.
Well, as I'm saying right now, no one has the big key to Turtle Rock.
That's right. Where could it be?
That's quite an elusive one. Yeah,
Misery Mire, perhaps?
that would be something.
But it looks like Hitaka's going further in.
Or maybe it's hidden by progression behind the vanilla big chest.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Who
Let's
knows?
see what Hitaka does here. Hitaka's going to steal that key and go away, so it's just going to be a Mimic Cave check for him.
Then that will be it. He will not be able to go any further.
You know, that chest there, that's one of the nastiest chests in all of Keysanity. Right? You can spend that third key to open that chest. But then you need all 4 keys to go beat the dungeon. Or you can skip that chest. But if there's something important in that in that chest, and I've seen so much important in that chest, then you don't open it ever. It takes way too long to open it, and you really miss out. I can't imagine that Hitaka liked making that choice.
Definitely a hard choice to make at this point, especially at this point, since they have not much else to check.
I mean, it's at this point, between what we've seen from all our runners, it's check that or check Misery Mire.
And Hitaka does not have the Eternal Medallion yet.
That's right, he's got a lot of work to do to get into Mire. Oh, but he's headed back into the dungeon. Just doing a death warp, it looks like, to get back a ton of health.
And we're seeing the Mire play with sab0tender and maybe Oyster too.
I think so. Now, Oyster, of course, doesn't have that Ether Medallion yet. So this could put sab0tender ahead.
Yeah, and I think Hitaka is going back for that chest. Maybe they just went, oh, I haven't got any progression out of all this.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
maybe they're thinking about progression in that chest.
at some point you do have to say, yeah, I want to check that chest while I'm here because I don't want to have to come back for that chest.
Ooh.
Oh,
and
a
I
small
agree.
key to Ganon's tower.
I so agree with Hitaka's play right now.
What did he do there?
He just reset his emulator. So basically, by taking the death warp earlier, he saved and continued. But the important part is that he saved. So
Yes.
he saved all their progress. Then they opened that chest and said, nah, that's not interesting. So they just reset the run. They just quit without saving. So
Very
they're
clever
keeping
play
that
there.
key.
That's a high-level strategy. There's the fire rod in Misery Mire for sab0tender.
Yeah, that's a tardy location to have the fire rod in.
That'll open up the left side for sab0tender.
And a lot of other stuff too. Like Skull Woods.
Skull Woods, 2 chests on the right side of Turtle Rock. Mire was the play at this point. Zaphod's also heading through Turtle Rock, but if we look at Zaphod's key count, he's got 4 small keys, so he's not going to have to make that clever little play that Hitaka did. That play has me so impressed with Hitaka right now.
And we just got a lamp in Misery Mire big chest.
Oh jeez, if you want a fire source, go to Misery Mire for both of them.
So I guess fire was discovered in there?
Oh yeah, that's the origin of fire. That's why there are so many fireballs running around in this room, byproducts from the experiments that created fire in the first place. But this is big for sab0tender. He's going to be able to clear this dungeon out fully. He can go clear Skull Woods. Turtle Rock as soon as he finds the big key. You're right, Desert.
He can even complete Misery Mire within the logic.
That's right, so Hitaka's going to have to come across something big pretty soon to catch up at this point. We are still looking for that bow, though.
And bow can be pretty much anywhere, because the only required use for the bow right now is beating the Eastern Palace.
That's right.
I mean, the earliest use for the bow. We know we need to use it for Ganon's tower, but we need it for Eastern first.
Yeah, so that could put it all over the world in so many different places. In so many different places that I start wondering, you know, are we going to need to see a fat fairy check at the pyramid? Are we going to need to see, I think it's Desert and Skull Woods cleared out just so they can go and find the bow somewhere?
That would be possible, but at least there are 2 fairly quick dungeons to do. So I would not be. I would not be so. I mean, yeah. I would not be disappointed with checking Fat Fairy Cave.
Alright, so Zaphod cleared as much of Turtle Rock as he could, then of course had to leave there, but looks like he's headed back to the Dark World on Death Mountain. He might be picking up his silver arrows here.
Hey, while you're there, why not do that?
Yeah, we're going to see both runners on top with that, and you know, I'm sure both of our bottom runners can do Ganon Silverless, but if it comes down to the wire and one of them checked Spike Cave, that could see them get an edge.
seems sab0tender would be doing cave strategies for Vitreous.
You know, this is one of the great plays you get to do. You sit there with the level 4 sword, unhittable. You just slash away at Vitreous, and you let all the worries of the seed drift away for a minute.
A moment of calm, and Vitreous is defeated, giving out a vanilla heart container.
And a crystal.
Oh yeah, that's an important thing, right?
We do need 7 of them. But hey, sab0tender's at 3 of those now.
I think they want to get to Desert Palace, but they want to do it by the left way, or the back way.
Yeah, go straight to the boss in this case.
So now we know that mire is the play to make.
Oh, absolutely it is.
The longer they put it back, the longer they will have to play the seed.
That's right. Oyster's clearing out Swamp right now, which is not a bad play at all. You know, it is Crystal. You are going to clear this out.
They need to do it eventually, so
and
that's okay.
Hitaka's going up the castle area. Looks like he might be getting that shovel right now.
That's a quick play that I don't disagree with. Especially since, you know, Keysanity is quite new, and before that, the castle tower chest didn't have anything useful other than the vanilla keys. So some runners tend to not think about going up there, and sometimes it can be the play to make. Get the advantage.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that just slips a lot of runners' minds right now, or at least it did in the first couple of weeks. And as this tournament goes on and people get more practice, we start to see that meta develop where people are going in earlier, and in Hitaka's case, doing that cave in the dark. That's a 4th crystal for sab0tender.
A really quick landmolar skill with the border sword. That's definitely something I wish I could do in NMG.
Much better to do it with butter than try to hit with non-silvered arrows. So sab0tender may not be in go mode at this point, but he's certainly running around with the purpose of, or with the speed that we normally see from go mode. Mire just unlocked so much stuff for him. He's just running through it.
So much required stuff, I think, is the important thing here. With all these crystal dungeons he can do.
Meanwhile, Hitaka, unfortunately, heading into the dark escape area, not going to find any progression there. Zaphod has picked up the lamp from eastern part of Misery Mire.
I don't think it will be long before they get the fire rod.
No, certainly not. I think it's right in this room here. Oh no, it's on the bridge.
No, it's on the bridge.
Yeah.
And Hitaka has found the big key to Swamp Palace in the complete dark. I hope you like the confirmation sounds from these tile floors.
I enjoy knowing that our runners, and me when I play the game, I enjoy knowing that you're stepping on tiles on the ground. Alright, and Hitaka headed over to the Haunted Grove, Gonna dig up that Ether Medallion. We'll see if he makes the play straight into Mire. That's what he needs to do.
So just to recap a bit of things, you needed to go into Aya Tower to get the shovel, to get the Ether Medallion, to get both fire sources. I think we have a pretty solid seed right here.
It all depends on when they were willing to make the dive into Mire. I understand, you know, not wanting to do it without a fire source. But these runners had access to it so long ago. The problem was the seed just gave them access to everything so long ago.
They had so much better to do than Mire.
Oh, absolutely. Dark Death Mountain or Misery Mire without a fire source? I'm picking Dark Death Mountain every day of the week.
And looks like Mothula only had 50 rupees on it. And sab0tender will be checking this last chest in Skullwoods.
Yeah, now sab0tender, we said he was moving with purpose earlier. He's almost exhausted the spots he can check with his current equipment. There's another key to Misery Mire. Not gonna help him at all at this point.
And they're going to do a pedestal check, which we know is already a hot container.
Well, this is the time to check it before you decide whether or not it's worth trying to clear out pod. Alright, meanwhile, Zaphod making his way towards Vitreous, and Hitaka's doing a clear of Mire. Probably going to be a full clear since there's a ton of good items here and that crystal. And where's sab0tender headed here? Are we seeing a pyramid check?
Definitely. So we know sab0tender will be getting his red mail, but more importantly, he's going to check what the Fat Value chest holds for him.
And we can see Hitaka taking some rage out on that chest. He's been looking for that fire rod for a bit too long in his mind. I don't blame him for being frustrated at that point.
So to answer the chat, Randomizer Tower had the shovel, which led to Ether, which opened Misery Mire. So that was pretty important. And also had Swamp Palace Big Key. And we saw sab0tender hesitate a little bit for that red mail, but decided to not take it.
Decided not to take it?
Yeah.
Interesting choice.
They probably feel they can complete the game without it.
Yeah, I mean, many runners can. I also know many runners that will opt to grab the mail just for the safety so that they don't have to worry about, you know, taking too much damage. They can run through with a bit more confidence. But hey, if sab0tender can move faster with the blue mail still, more power to him.
And you're just giving me an evil idea. What if mails slowed you down?
You mean like Twilight Princess mail?
Yeah, like Twilight Princess mail.
Oh, that would add a whole other dynamic to the game that I hope the devs aren't listening to right now.
Oh, I hope they're listening. I want it. I'm evil. I'm mean.
All right, I'll let you play your evil mean modes. I'm gonna stick with something where picking up protection doesn't slow me down.
It's all right.
Alright, sab0tender heading for that dark chest in the sewers. Hitaka clearing out the rest of Misery Mire. Zaphod putting his fire sources to good work. Finishing up the landmo fight here. Where's Oyster at the moment?
He's in the dark. Don't you see him?
No, I don't see him. He's in the dark.
He's in the Palace of Darkness, Dark Maze.
I see.
What we see is the fire shots by those the Dongo-like enemies.
That's right. So, sab0tender back on Death Mountain. I'm starting to think that the play is either into Turtle Rock, where sab0tender can get those 2 chests on the right side with Fire Rod, or these runners have to do the thing that no one wants to do, and go back to the Hera basement.
Oh my god. If that is the play, I feel sorry for them.
I do too. Either way, I think sab0tender's getting a very nice lead here, but you really don't want to be doing that basement check. And as soon as you start doing it, you start going, oh no, this takes over 2 minutes to do. Are the other guys doing this? If they're skipping it, are they going to win because of that? It's not mentally a happy place for these runners to be.
But is it me, or is sab0tender missing at least one Turtle Rock key?
He is. Now, I think there's another one available to him in Hookshot Cave.
I hope they're going to go there before, because
then,
right now they still don't have the big key anyway.
No, they don't. Oyster, of course, running around with 4 Turtle Rock small keys, as is Zaphod. They've got the power to full clear that thing, but I get a bit worried for sab0tender when he's only got 2 at this point.
Well, no one has the big key yet.
That's right, I'm starting to think it might be in that dungeon, or I'm starting to think it's locked behind Bo, which is on the right side of Turtle Rock.
This is going to be a trolley seed, I think. We have not seen the end of it.
We have not seen the end, no. Most of our runners sitting on 4 crystals, or 3 or 4 crystals, after about an hour and 40 minutes. They're making good time through this seed. They're certainly progressing, but, you know, we're really starting to hit this bottleneck.
And Zaphod getting a highly clean kill on Motsula. Getting his, what's this, 5th crystal? So yeah, we may feel like the runners are nearly done with the seed, but they're still missing quite some items.
Well, in terms of items for, you know, opening up more of the game, I think the only thing they're really missing is the bow. The challenge is they're missing 2 critical big keys here. Turtle Rock and Ganon's Tower.
I would guess Ganon's Tower big key is maybe Ganon's Tower.
At this point in the seed, I start thinking,
At this point.
You don't check much of the overworld for the GT big key anymore. As soon as you've got your go mode, you go straight to Ganon's Tower and clean out that basement.
Who doesn't want to check those 22 chests you can get to?
I mean, maybe it's not there, but certainly the odds would favor it being there, and as we start to see more and more runners do that as part of the meta, you know, outthinking your opponent, that becomes the play. There's the bow for sab0tender and Turtle Rock.
So you were right, the board right side. Not by the fire rod.
Nasty piece of work there. They're going to have to go into Turtle Rock for the bow, just so they can go clear Eastern and maybe Palace of Darkness as well. All probably to find the Turtle Rock Big Key.
I think at this point you're still hoping you will find maybe a vanilla Big Key or something, but it won't be the case.
That's right, sab0tender has to clear out the rest of this dungeon up to Mimic Cave to be sure that there's no more big keys in this dungeon for him. Meanwhile, Oyster making a similar play, clearing up Turtle Rock. Unfortunately, Oyster still doesn't have that shovel out of Ega Tower, and I think that's what's blocking him at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely they need that shovel.
And, you know, Hitaka had cleared out a good portion of Turtle Rock earlier in this race. So sab0tender's doing it now, and Hitaka's making up some ground again. We're starting to see this gap close between the runners, as Hitaka's got almost as many crystals as sab0tender does at this point. This race is getting close.
A very close race, but it all depends on whether Hitaka wants to go back in Turtle Rock just yet, or does he want to try and find the big key before.
That's right. As soon as Hitaka beats Mothula here, Pyramid Fairy is going to be open to him. And, you know, that's always a tempting play. We saw it from sab0tender. Both you and I thought it was interesting. Hitaka could get stuck there and, you know, lose a bit of time.
And oh no, getting grabbed.
Oh.
That's very unfortunate.
Now hang on, where's Zaphod?
He's in somewhere I don't want to be.
I don't want to be there either, but, you know, we were kind of assuming Bo was required from Turtle Rock to advance further in the dungeon. We had forgotten about Hera Basement. Zaphod might be onto something here.
He might find something really useful there.
But I agree with you 100%. I don't want to be there right now.
I don't think Zaphod wanted to be here, to be there either, to be fair.
And just an arrow upgrade. Well, that'll be a disappointment for Zaphod. sab0tender, it looks, is making the right play. Headed back to the Dark Palace and Eastern Palace area. Probably going to see him do Eastern first, clear up Armos, and then maybe right side pod.
Yes. So that's, I think, still 3 chests available to him in pod. The 2 right side ones and the boss. Along with Sahasrahalas, because of the green pendant. So yeah,
That's right.
4 locations to check because of pod. That's a good play, I think.
Well, and at this point, if you're sab0tender, at the rate he's been clearing the game, where else do you go? Spike Cave. You could go to Spike Cave and get the silver arrows, which he's still lacking.
Yeah, that's definitely something he could have done.
Meanwhile, Zaphod back in Turtle Rock. Gonna do the right side, gonna get his bow, and we'll see if he makes a similar play to sab0tender.
And it's like Zephyr just got out of Turtle Rock. This has go straight in Easton and Pod.
Oh, good play. Oyster doing a pedestal check for us. Unfortunately,
No, he's pulling it. No.
Oyster, you can't pull that just yet. Sorry.
I was sure he was pulling it.
You need 3 pendants for that.
I got baited by Oyster.
No, unfortunately, Oyster needs to go to Aga Tower to get that shovel to get ether to get into Mire where the seed breaks open again. And it looks like he might be a bit uncertain about what his options are. Well, there's a big key for Turtle Rock.
Oh my god.
So that was, of course, a required double dip into T-Rock for our runners tonight.
Yes, a pretty obvious double dip. I wonder if you're sab0tender, do you go and try to find the pod, not the pod Vicky, the Ganon's Tower Vicky in pod, or do you go back and try to find it in Turtle Rock?
You know, I think if you're anywhere else in the game, you go straight to Turtle Rock and you hope you find the GT key there. But when you're in exactly that spot that he was in, the closest spot to Pod, that's the best time you're ever going to have to check this dungeon. So I think you do it now.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know, if you're somewhere else in the world where you'd have to flute there, go into the Dark World, go through the hedge maze, it stops being worth it at a certain point. But when you're right here, you just go.
And what a nice bow play from sab0tender.
Yeah, showing off that it's clear he's done this dungeon many times before. He knows what he's doing. He knows where he's headed. And just a piece of heart so far.
And Zephyr has already got that. He's a little bit further ahead in pod.
Oh, that's right.
And he will probably be the first to show us what Helma's got for us tonight.
And probably at this rate, Sahasrahla as well. Oyster picks up his Ether Medallion and uses it immediately. I think he's aware that he spent a bit too long finding that and that he's behind at this point.
That's a really comprehensible reaction.
Yeah, but he's making the play to Mire, and, you know, this is going to open up the seat again for him, like we saw for every other runner. At the very least, he's got some clear work ahead of him. Hitaka's going to do that Pyramid Fairy check here. You know, not a bad play. Obviously, it doesn't have the progression he wants, but in his position, I check the overworld. I want to check the overworld before I go to Turtle Rock, because I just wasted a bunch of time in there. The last thing you want to do is go back there a second time and get shut out.
Looks like sab0tender decided to not complete pod, at least not the boss.
Yeah, now I didn't see what Helmasaur dropped, but it looks like chat's saying it was a bunch of money.
Yeah, just a bunch of money. But Zephyr will go and check the Green Pendant after he finishes this turn, of course.
Oh, Zephyr, just keep us in suspense. What is Sahasrahla holding today? Don't tell us yet.
No, we want to know.
So at this point, I think it's safe to say Zaphod has a commanding lead in this race. He's going to get the Turtle Rock Big Key from here, and he's checked all this overworld stuff, including Sahasrahla. The big thing is, if Sahasrahla has that Ganon's Tower key, sab0tender's going to have a lot of work to do.
Yes, well, fortunately for these two, they are not against each other.
That's right. Of course, top two racers, Oyster and Zaphod, at a 2-0 record in this tournament facing each other. sab0tender and Hitaka on the bottom with a 1-1 record. But both Zaphod and sab0tender well ahead of their opponents at this point. There's the fire rod for Hitaka. I'm sorry, Oyster, not Hitaka.
It's okay. We have forerunners to check.
That's right. Meanwhile, Ninban giving sympathy to his commentator.
Okay, Hitaka. Okay, I thought they hadn't got. I thought they wanted to get into Waterfall Cave, but I was like, wait, they already did that?
Yeah, I think Hitaka was just releasing a bee there so he could have an empty bottle open for buying a blue potion there.
Definitely a great idea, especially when you have so much rupees.
And big chest in Turtle Rock is a small key to Ganon's Tower.
Yet again, we have a key in a big chest.
So Hitaka's headed up the mountain here, but when I see someone going up this long staircase, I don't think Turtle Rock. I think Spike Cave and or Tower of Hera. So let's see what Hitaka does with this. Well, that's going to be silvers for Hitaka when he gets through Spike Cave. And looks like Zaphod is headed back to Turtle Rock. Gonna use that bow. Or sorry, that Turtle Rock Big Key to get through the rest of the dungeon.
Yeah. I missed what was at Sahasrahla's, but wasn't anything useful.
I just see a boo in the chat, so I'm going to assume it was a single rupee or something of similar terrible value. Heart piece.
A heart piece. So
Thanks, trackers.
similar. We're on Laser Bridge, holding your red rupee.
sab0tender's down to 3 hearts here, and still running on blue mail. Now down to 2 hearts after that fall. So he's got to be a bit careful here. Probably going to open up that safety door.
That's a good strategy. But I think with all the bottles they've got, I think they have a fairy in one of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, we're about to find out as he gets shot in the back by a laser. That's right. And it looks like no Ganon's Tower key on the laser bridge tonight. sab0tender taking the intentional death for some health back. So I'm sure sab0tender has the skill, especially with Buttersword, to get through this boss fight. And of course, there's a full magic refill coming right up. But then it'll be a question. Does Ganon's tower have that big key? Or are we going to see that terrible thing where the runners go in? I see some people in chat saying, yeah, they'll get the boots, and then have to double dip the dungeon. Please, please, let's not let that happen to them.
That's definitely something that could happen. But I'm gonna guess it's inside Ganon's tower. Just so we could have some vanilla Ganon's tower right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
Also, I don't... I'm not against the fact that it could be on the Ganon's tower torch. It's still inside.
That's entirely right. Fortunately, at this point, I think the boots have to be in the tower as well.
Yes.
So with a very quick, very well executed Trinix fight, sab0tender has collected his 7th crystal. And he's going to head over to Ganon's tower, I expect. Chat, I can see some numbers in there already. There's a little game we like to play sometimes, where you try to guess where, out of the 22 locations in the basement, that big key is. You know what? Go ahead. Put your guesses in, and put a nice big 0 in if you think the key isn't in the tower. Ninban, do you have a favorite chest you like to guess?
I change my favorite chest pretty much every day, but I'm going to say Bob's chest.
Bob's chest is your favorite chest of the day?
Yes.
Well, it's always my favorite chest, so I'm happy to support you in that endeavor.
Hey, so it means I'm having a good day.
And no, chat, we can't have the big key.
And we have the boots.
The boots in that first chest, I've shifted from hoping it's Bob's chest. I want to see it on that. I want to see it on that torch right now.
Yes, on the torch.
Meanwhile, Zaphod has made his way through Turtle Rock. Looks like he's cleaning up on Trinix, and Oyster's made his way out of Mire. Completed Desert Palace as well. So well on that progression, but still unfortunately behind Zaphod, as Hitaka's going to head into Pod and make similar plays to what we saw Zaphod and Sabo doing earlier.
So the right side of Ganon's tower not having much for our runners right now.
No, Sabo picking up that key on the right side. He's going to get out of there and see if left side can do anything for him. Zaphod also headed over to Ganon's tower. There's just a map on the torch, unfortunately.
It's a fireproof map. It must mean it's pretty strong.
Listen, if we can see a waterproof map at the dam, why not a fireproof map on the torch?
I agree. Everything is possible.
I think this is
have the
3
hearts.
heart containers so far in Ganon's tower. And just a small key for ice here as well.
So Ganon's tower, I think Ganon just had a pretty good Valentine Day yesterday. That's why he has all these hearts.
There's another little piece of one. Well, Zaphod picks up those boots. Let's see if he's going to go right side as well.
It looks like it.
And another piece of heart for sab0tender. Still no big key. He comes upon the random room. If you guessed chest 1 through 13, you are not correct at this point. First 17 chests coming up empty. We do see that Hyrule Castle key that, opens the door in the sewers and does nothing for our runners ever.
Well, there are some special cases that can do something, but we prefer not to see them.
Certainly.
So we're coming out on boss chest, and I know people in chat asked earlier why is it named Bob chest, and you will see why right now. See that little guy at the bottom? That's Bob, and we love Bob.
He kind of looks like a Bob, doesn't he? In actuality, he's caused by just an overwriting of some sprites by putting something on the torch that isn't the original small key. Little glitch in the sprites that we really like to see. We call him Bob. He's a lot of fun. He's my friend. He could be your friend too.
Also, interesting fact I just noticed right now is that sab0tender doesn't have silver arrows.
That's right, they're right outside in Spike Cave. And if these chests in the basement don't have silvers, he might go checking them. Or, I'm sorry, doesn't have the big key. But at this point, it's down to Tile Room, if we want to see that key inside Ganon's tower.
I'm also got the tile room.
On the right side, Hitaka's made his way into Turtle Rock. He's going to have to check about the second half of the dungeon, still looking for the big key. But we're starting to see him, catch up in location, if not in total chest searched. I'll be interested to see if Hitaka gets to the end and thinks he's very far behind, he might just grab the boots and bail out of the dungeon, which could make up a lot of time. Or he might still clear the whole thing, which of course wouldn't help him at this point.
Oh.
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 Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, there were 22 possible locations for that big key. If you guessed 22, if you guessed the tile room, you have something against our runners because you wanted to see them suffer. But you're also correct tonight, so congratulations.
And with that, there's go mode for Sabo.
That's
2
right.
hours in the seed.
A very, very late go mode, but at least he's still in Ganon's tower when he finds that go mode. And he's going to have a pretty easy time finishing up this seed, assuming he can do silverless, which I fully expect from him based on what we've seen so far. The great news for sab0tender is if he gets to that Ganon fight and he doesn't quite feel up to doing it with blue mail, red mail is right nearby for him, and he knows it's there.
Just an option you can take to make the game a little bit easier. At this point. And nice firewall shots.
Meanwhile, I want to point out what Zaphod's doing here. He's turned on his cape, he's grabbed the wall, he's pulling back. When you do that, the cape consumes 0 magic, and the wall masters can't even pick you up. So he gets to have the easy ride through the tile room, just sitting there letting everything come to him.
Well, today I learned.
Oh, nice double hit off of the landmos there. As sab0tender might be able to do this in 2 cycles. Very nice landmo fight.
Wow. I think this is quite reminiscent of his first landmos fight.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, stopping to powder that bunny beam just changes the time those landmos pop out of the sand, and it makes them come out so much closer together. If you have butter and you spin, you just wreck those bosses.
I think with the right luck and positioning, you can get double spins on them and kill them with one.
Oh no, that would be something to see. Meanwhile, on the top race, safe odds enter the gauntlet, and it looks like Oyster's going back into Swamp Palace to check that. Does he have the Swamp Palace big key? Is he going to check on that? That would be a bit of a distraction for him, unfortunately.
And we have Hitaka opening Ganon's tower.
That's right. Now,
we have 2 of our runners in there.
We do, and I see something very important in chat. If Hitaka thinks he's behind, he might gamble on tile room here, which would be just a... Hitaka, you don't have the big key. There we go. But he's going left side. We're not going to see the tile room gamble.
And then we have a vanilla monkey in that last chest before Moldor.
Well, who put that there? sab0tender, finding only a bomb upgrade, is not going to be getting his silver arrows there, or probably at all this seed.
We have a nice double hit there. Can he make that a triple?
Not quite. Oh, sab0tender just missing some angles, but still making it through this fight relatively unscathed. He's got 17 hearts, blue mail, butter, but no silvers as he heads into Ganon.
So we're going to see some silverless Ganon action tonight.
If you played this game casually in the past and you thought you needed those silver arrows to beat Ganon, well, according to the developer's intentions, you're correct. But there is a little glitch where the few frames before Ganon teleports in the final phase, you can hit him with a sword. And it takes, what, 12 hits with the butter sword? Or the tempered sword? Is that right, 12?
Yeah, 12 on the final phase.
And with those almost frame-perfect hits, you can take down Ganon without the silver arrows.
Well, technically you need 24 hits of the tempered sword, but most of the time we use the spin attack, so that counts as a double the power.
That's right.
So that's 12. And butter sword spin attack doesn't count as double because it's already too powerful.
Just a bit too powerful. And sab0tender with a very quick phase 1 and phase 2. He's going to move on to phase 3. Ganon's going to warp a bit, but that's not going to stop him.
He doesn't have a lot of room to warp. But like they were on the overworld or something. And sab0tender has got the torch glitch.
Ooh, turns Ganon blue, which is not what you want to do, but, you know, he's got a full magic bar. This shouldn't be a problem for him as long as he keeps a steady hand. Hitaka's made his way to Bob's chest, gonna get that half magic, but unfortunately, still not at the tile room. Still doesn't have that big key. As Oyster's cleaning out Ice Palace, trying to find the Turtle Rock key. What he really needs is the bow from the right side Turtle Rock. And look at that rhythm sab0tender's maintaining. Just let Ganon appear, let that fire bat come out, move to the side, and release the spin. That's 12 hits. sab0tender's gonna win this race.
And Ganon is dead.
Oh good, I was hoping that would happen tonight.
I think we're gonna see him die 3 more times. How fun is that?
For Ganon? Not at all. For us? Yeah, there's a bit of fun there. So that'll put sab0tender winning his race with an official time of 2 hours, 11 minutes, 36 seconds. Congratulations to him.
Congrats indeed.
And we're going to see if we can get him in here to do a bit of a talk. Meanwhile, Zaphod's made his way to Phase 4, and he has the silver, so this is going to be a super quick Phase 4. And in fact, there we go, Zaphod's going to win his race. That is, of course, the 3rd win of the tournament for Zaphod. That's going to put him on a record of 3-0, putting him up with the top players at this point.
Yes, definitely someone to follow in the following rounds.
And we are joined by sab0tender. Congratulations and good game on this seed.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So, we had a bit of a discussion, a bit of back and forth on this. I'm curious to hear your thought. How trolly did you think this was?
Wow. It was pretty trolly. I mean, I couldn't really figure out what the logic of the seed was. I just felt like I was running around to different places and finding one thing here, one thing there, and it wasn't really leading me anywhere in particular, I didn't think.
Yeah, that's about right. It was open at the start, to say the least.
Yes, yeah, definitely opened up early on, which was pretty good. I don't mind it being open to start. You kind of have a lot of places to check, and in Keysanity, the more places you can knock off early, I think, the better. But yeah, as we started to get deeper into the seed, my mid-game, I was like, I have no idea what's going on, and I honestly thought I was pretty far behind.
Yeah, well, you were the first one to make the big play into Misery Mire, which, of course, was both your fire sources. And that just kind of set you out ahead of everyone. We're also joined by Zaphod Beeblebrox the 4th, who I should point out finished in 2nd overall and 1st in his race with an official time of 2 hours, 12 minutes, 36 seconds, exactly 1 minute behind. Zaphod, congrats.
Thanks, man.
So how about you? Where did you think this sat on kind of the troll index versus the obvious or straightforward?
The bow.
Yeah, I really couldn't believe that. I mean, well, I could believe that the bow was there in Turtle Rock. We didn't have the big key to Turtle Rock, and then we had to go all the way back into Eastern Palace to find the big key to Turtle Rock. It was just, that was definitely a pretty serious troll.
Indeed.
Yeah, the Turtle Rock double dip is kind of the meanest of the double dips.
Well, I kind of had to do more dips than that.
In some cases, yeah.
Even Major Access, I believe, was quite early.
Yeah.
With having to find the shovel, to find ether, and all that.
I think Sabo, you ended up doing that pretty early in comparison. But you didn't have the myths for a while, and Zaphod had the opposite problem. Zaphod, you had the myths very early, and it took a while to come across that ether medallion.
Yeah. I was hoping that there was absolutely nothing in Hookshot Cave once I find the hookshot late. That was the main thing I was concerned about.
And I think it was just maybe a Turtle Rock small key, if anything.
Yeah, it was pretty much a bust, I'd say. But yeah, I mean, let's see. So I found the shovel early on. I can't remember where the shovel was exactly, but yeah, I went right back to that dig spot.
Or first chest of Aga Tower.
Yeah, that's right. I had a feeling early on that we'd have to go to that chest for some reason, because it seems like in Keysanity you always end up over there. So I went. As soon as I picked up that shovel, that's right. I went right to the dig spot, and I held on to that ether medallion for a while. But yeah, I didn't get the powder quick enough to get over to the bat in kind of good time.
Well, I often say Keysanity's an interesting game mode because it leaves so many options open, but it's rare that I see something this open this early. 10 minutes in, you were all in different paths. You were all finding unique bits of progression. And that's not just because Sabo, you went straight to Uncle and then straight to South Shore. That's because everyone was going in different directions. I think the first check of Sahasrahla was like 40 minutes into the seed.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people go for the Eastern play kind of early, but because we got quite a lot of stuff early on, you don't see any value in heading over there when you've got like a bunch of Dark World locations you can check. You pick up the flute from the Hype Cave, you can fly around anywhere you want. No one's going to rush back to Sahasrahla for sure.
No, absolutely not. Just to cut back.
Yeah. I haven't seen any honors do that, actually.
No. Just to cut back to the runners that are still going, Oyster's entered Turtle Rock. Looks like he's going to be picking up the bow here. Meanwhile, Hitaka's still running around the overworld. I think he's out of small keys for Ganon's Tower, even though he got the big key. So he seems to be scouring the overworld, trying to find another key. Of course, he doesn't know, but we know there's one in the last possible chest here. So
wow,
hopefully he heads up there.
Sucks for Hitaka. I really hope he does. Yeah, think to head up the tower, but that's a tough play to make.
Oh, there were a lot of tough plays to make tonight. I guess to both of you, then the next question is: given where that bow was, given how weird the mire access was, as you were going up the gauntlet, where did you think you were relative to that opponent of yours? Start with Zaphod.
I wasn't sure, actually. I thought it was a little bit behind, especially since, well, I checked Pod first and Sahasrahla and all the pendant dungeons and whatnot. So yeah, I thought it was behind. At least a little bit.
We see Oyster firing that ether medallion as he gets his bow. Sabo, how about you as you were going up gauntlet?
I was starting to get a little bit worried because I had seen that Hitaka had put in some times around, 205, 210. And if everything just clicked for him, then, hey, like he could have been all the way up the tower when I was just climbing. So it was in the back of my mind for sure.
Yeah, understandably. Well, this, as we said, this was a heck of a seed with how many options it gave you and how much you had to route. Again, great work by both of you to finish this off. 191 collection rate. Even for Keysanity, sab0tender, that's quite high.
That's really high. I know I kind of went all over the place. 191 comes pretty close to like my highest of high collection rates, I think. I think about a 195 or 196, I think might be as high as I've ever gone. So that's pretty bad.
I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just high when there was so much to check in this game.
I was very thorough, I guess, today.
Now, one thing you didn't pick up that was kind of noteworthy was we saw you check the pyramid. We saw you see a red pile of clothes lying there, and you stepped away. Was that intentional? Did you feel really confident in your play tonight?
I guess I just thought that the wasted 30 seconds or 15 seconds it would have taken to grab the mail just wasn't worth it at that time. But I was feeling pretty good that with the blue mail it would be just enough.
Also, coming with the race, I think Hitaka just found his GT small key in the vanilla big key chest of Total Rock. So
yeah,
now
that'll get him up the tower.
That will get him up.
And it looks like was I the only one that didn't get silver arrows?
That's right. Care to take a guess at where they were?
God, I have no idea. Swamp Palace Big Chest?
No. Ganon did tell you they were in the Dark World.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention to what he said.
I suppose you wouldn't at that point. They were right outside the tower in Spike Cave.
Oh, I thought about going into Spike Cave looking for the GT Big Key, but I thought that I just didn't want to bother.
Yeah, and in fact, we were speculating that if it didn't turn up in Tile Room, you were going to go into the overworld, check some boot spots, but hopefully at least you'd do Spike Cave on your way out of the tower.
It would have been Spike Cave and Hera Basement, probably, if I didn't find the key in the tower.
And just to clear up some questions I saw in chat about some of those numbers in the ending credits, the number of items collected in Ganon's tower before the big key only usually gets to 21 because most people won't pick up that item on the torch unless they really need it. And also, there's that weird number where the flute says it was collected at 0 seconds into the game. That's a known bug that's going to be fixed in the next version of the randomizer coming soon to you. So Zaphod, you've won 3 games in a row now. You're in the top set of players going forward into the next round. Any special preparation you're going to do? Any changes to your play you might make as you advance further through these rounds?
Not really. At least not I have in mind. Just keep going with what works, I guess.
All right. Keep at it. Keep winning.
Winning is a good play, yeah. And what about you, sab0tender? Because I think we know there are still lots of strong players in the 2-1. That would be in the 2-1 range.
Oh, yeah, there's so many good players. It's just going to get, scarier from here on in. I was nervous coming into this one because I got paired with someone who I'd seen their times and, they're good. And now I've got to go up against people that are even better. It's just, I don't even know how much further I can go with this without stressing out to the max.
Well, try not to stress out too hard. And, to that effect, I want to point out, Hitaka and Oyster still finishing up this game, but given some of the routing that the seed threw at them, especially with that darn bow in T-Rock, good play from both of them still.
Yeah, what I'm seeing on the stream here looks good. So yeah, props to them for sure.
On that note, if you have enjoyed what you saw from these runners, feel free to give them a follow because, especially with this tournament going on, I expect they're practicing Keysanity a fair amount. And a big thanks again to our trackers tonight, both Itsudemo and HahaCell, keeping those trackers updated so we could keep track of where these runners were and keep track of things like sab0tender didn't have the silver arrows, and that had us wondering how easy the Ganon fight would be for him.
Yeah, big shout out to the trackers, and also to you, Filian and Ninban. Thank you so much for commentating this match. Yeah, great work.
Oh, we're
Thank you
happy
for
to oblige.
thank you for
Yeah.
running.
Yeah, we can't do this without runners. And of course, if you just stumbled upon speed gaming tonight and you're wanting to try this out for yourself, there is an entire randomizer website, an entire randomizer Discord with, I think, 2,000 people on it, ready and willing to help you get started running this game. We are happy to have you join, learn more about this game, and try it out for yourself. Maybe even join a tournament in the future. And Hitaka's going to get a bit of Pink Floyd quote here from Ganon as he enters that fight. This should be a pretty quick one, given he's managed to get up to 17 whole hearts.
And with Brother Sword and Silver Rose. That's definitely a quick fight.
I was surprised at how many hearts we picked up in Ganon's tower there. That was really nice, because we had been pretty, I think, low HP most of the run, and then to kind of get a little bounty of hearts there towards the end was nice.
Yeah, in particular, Zaphod was running around in the Dark World for a while with green mail and 4 hearts. And, held up very well throughout all that.
That was pretty scary.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always scary to be doing Dark World with really low amounts of hearts. I think when I got the flute, I immediately decided to not do any more Dark World stuff for a little while there.
Alright, so with that takedown of Ganon, Hitaka has finished his race with an official time of 2 hours, 27 minutes, 51 seconds. So GG to him, and still well fought, even if he didn't come out on top. This was a great piece of work to see from him. And it looks like he's here already. We are joined by Hitaka. GG, and good work on playing that seed out.
GG.
Oh my god. I can't believe I had to hunt down a Ganon small key for Ganon.
Oh,
Tower.
that was rough.
I guess I've seen people go do tile room first, and now I know why. Because you don't have to spend any keys to get there.
Yeah, and we knew there was going to be one up at the top for you, but unfortunately you didn't have that knowledge, and I don't blame you for not gambling on that. That's a long way to go up the tower in the hopes that you come upon a key.
Wow, that's pretty unlikely, and I think that's the 3rd seed that I know of so far in the tournament that's had that happen. That's really weird.
So any initial thoughts from you on what you saw in the seed, what you liked, what you didn't like from where Randomizer decided to put things today?
Oh god. Let's see. Both fire sources in Mire was pretty stupid.
Yeah. You know what? At this point, stupid's a word I'm willing to use for that.
And then Bow in Turtle Rock behind the fire rod torches was also pretty bad.
Yeah, I want to call attention again, partly because these other runners didn't see it. You did a really cool play in Turtle Rock on your first visit there. Do you want to walk us through that again? Do you know what I'm referring to?
When I killed myself and then reset?
Yeah, to save a key.
Well, that chest, the big key chest in Turtle Rock, you have to use up a key to get it. And then you can't beat the dungeon with 3 keys. You have to get all 4 keys. And so I got burned by that before, so I decided that because you can just die at the middle entrances by the big chest, and then save, and that's really close to the chest, so you can save right there, and then go to the chest and open it, and if it's garbage, then just reset. Although, ironically, that burned me this time because it was a Ganon's Tower small key. So if I
that's
kept
right.
that, that's the one I that's the one I ended up getting because I just disregarded it, and I didn't remember that it was a Ganon's Tower small key until I'd gone back into Turtle Rock.
That's right. So it did hurt you a bit there, but of course you were still able to finish the dungeon at the time.
Yeah.
And certainly that was a clever little play that if I come across a similar uncertainty in my future matches, I'm going to think about doing that. I think you showed us a really impressive strat there.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was really amazing.
Also, I would like to apologize to everyone for Boots being in Ganon's Tower, because before the race started, I said, "Early Boots, please," because I had a bootless seed last week. So I jinxed it.
Yeah, you absolutely cursed us on that one.
I'm sorry.
I was happy to blame whoever rolled the seed, which I think was just speed gaming and Feasel in this case. But if you want to take responsibility for those boots, that's on you.
Yeah, I'm never saying that again.
All right. Meanwhile, still on the stream here, Oyster has finished up the Trinex fight. Looked like he went to restock on some fairies before doing that, but now he's headed into Ganon's Tower. He's probably going to end up clearing that full basement unless we see the great tile room gamble from him. Runners, do not feel obligated to stick around through the end of this if you have other spots you need to be. But since we do have Oyster still climbing the tower, anyone else have thoughts on what they've seen in the tournament so far, or just further thoughts on the weird things that happened at the start of this seed?
I guess I'll just extend a thanks to all the commentators and trackers who have stepped up to either commentate or track some of these races for us, because it's just been, there's been so many races on every single day, and we need so many volunteers to help us. And I mean, it's so great to see that the community kind of comes together and gets all of these restreamed, and there's always people working on each one of these races. So it's so appreciated. So yeah, big shout outs to everyone who's volunteering to make this thing happen.
That's a fantastic point. As we said earlier, there are over 200 people in this tournament. That means over 100 races every week, most of them on speed gaming, some on the Link to the Past randomizer channels. And to run these races, we need restreamers, we need the speed gaming staff to use the speed gaming machines, we need 2 commentators per race and 1 tracker for every runner. So it is a lot of work that needs to go into this. So if you're watching this and you're a commentator, tracker, restreamer, staff, thank you so much for the work you do. And if you're watching this and you're not one of those roles, I think I missed trackers. So trackers as well. If you're not one of those roles yet, consider signing up, because we can use your help running this tournament. And, we're always looking for more points of view, more help from different people and what they can do.
And it's a very helpful and kind community too. So people would definitely help you get started on commentary, get started on tracking, and get started on restreaming if you have a good enough computer and internet connection. So definitely consider it. That's
right. And just to respond to some questions about format of the tournament in chat, this is a giant Swiss tournament played out over 5 rounds, where every round you're playing against someone who's won and lost the same number of matches as you. That's why Oyster and Zayfog were facing each other. That's why Sabo and Hitaka were facing each other. And at the end of 5 weeks of Swiss, that's right, 5 weeks, we're only halfway through this dang thing. After 5 weeks, the top 8 runners advance. And if I remember the math right, that means everyone who didn't lose a match gets to advance. And everyone who's at 4-1 record is going to be in a big race-off where 1 or 2 of those racers gets to advance. So there's a lot of work to do to make it through to the final 8 of this tournament. Meanwhile, Oyster's made his way all the way through the basement of GT, and he's going to use that cape trick and finally get his Ganon's Tower big key here.
Nope, I lost 2 games. I'm out. To the question in chat.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I do hope you continue with your races.
Oh, yeah.
I do hope all runners continue with their races if they're able to, because
I'm just in it for fun. So.
Oh, exactly, and you can do individual SRL races all you want. I at least find there's nothing quite like that thrill of a tournament race and getting that experience. There's nothing like that to prepare you for other tournaments. As Oyster finally finds that big key and drops a bombos on the room. I don't blame him at all at this point.
I
cleared
totally
so much of this
understand
dungeon.
him. I totally understand him doing that. Now he's off to the Ganon's Tower Gauntlet. With the Silver Rose, so these first few rooms with the Red Eye Girls aren't going to be too bad.
That's right, those 2 rooms there are the reason that every seed, no matter what dungeon's a pendant, what dungeon's a crystal, every seed requires the bow to beat. And I think it was last night there was a race in this tournament where both Eastern and Palace of Darkness were pendants. Bow was not required for them, and yet our runners were still running around trying to find the bow so they could finish this game because you can't climb the tower without it.
Another one of these things you absolutely need to finish climbing the tower is the hook shot. To get across the gap after beating the second Moldorm.
Unless you can hover, of course.
Of course.
There's always that case of if you can hover, but not a recommended strategy and certainly far from the easiest.
And I started missing his first shot on those 2, fortunately.
Well, there's a hit.
Has to take this into third cycle.
And he's through that. Unfortunately, Oyster checked a bit of the left side and then went straight to tile room, which means he's missed Bob's chest. So he's going to be doing the last part of this race without half magic, although I do think he has at least 1 blue potion. And of course, with all the hearts and mail and stuff he has, it shouldn't be a problem.
Not sure he still has that blue potion because he used one just before using bombos.
Oh, that's right.
Earlier, yeah.
Was he also the runner that bought a blue potion during this race?
I did that. That might have been me.
That might have been you.
Yeah. But in that case, I think Oyster, I think the not having half magic is not very detrimental for Oyster. He still have enough to finish the race.
Oh, absolutely. There is, of course, that full magic refill right before the Moldorm fight.
And here it is.
Ooh, taking a nasty fall there.
Troldom or Troldom, living up to its name.
That is why we give him that name.
And he's down with only 2 slashes. They're going straight to iron him for the final fight.
I like this cape play. When you're this far into the race and you just don't want to deal with that room, put on the cape, glide through it.
Yeah, just don't have to care about anything. The bumpers won't hit you, the enemies won't hit you. Just go straight ahead. Ooh, he's missing some shots. Iron him. Some opportunities. Gets a nice triple there.
A very nice sequence. And that blue ball just giving him a bit of trouble.
Yeah. Fortunately, gets hit a lot by blue balls.
There's our
But
sixth
there
hit.
it is. Is there the spirit of Ganon rises through his body. And we call the flute. Because we can totally use the flute in Dark World.
No, see, it's totally fine because it's fine, and the duck works in the Dark World for the sake of this cutscene. Everything's fine. I'm not worried about it.
I think he's just very angry against Ganon. That was a bit more than needed to end phase 2 of the fight. But I understand him.
Yeah, no, I think he's picked up some fairies when he was about to fight Trinex earlier, so he's down to 2.5 hearts. That shouldn't be too much of a problem here. And there's that question. Did you find the arrows in the Dark World? Again, 3 of our 4 runners finding them in Spike Cave tonight. Missing the torch glitch. This is going to give him a bit of trouble. Hopefully he has some magic in reserve.
I do hope so, because he's nearly out of magic.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh no, Oyster.
Okay, he can still use the lamp.
It might just he might have
He's
some
out.
green in the bar, even though he doesn't have enough to use that. So he's going to have to make a loop around to get a bit more magic. That's unfortunate at this point in the race.
Very unfortunate. Now I guess he's probably going to go and buy some blue potions.
That's right. I think he knows what to do at this point. He does have, I think, over 1,000 rupees. So not going to be short on money. He's got plenty of time to just go pick up some potions and even get a full health refill from talking to this salesperson. I'm missing the flute there, going to 5 instead of 4, but I like this play Oyster did, where he leaves the warp available right in the castle area. That way he can just head back in, use that warp, and be in front of the pyramid again. So Oyster's going to head into this fight for round 2 shortly.
And this time he will have enough magic and enough refills to help him get through the fight in its entirety.
I think so. Ganon taking only 6 phases, or 6 slashes per phase with the gold sword. So especially with the cape, you just sit there, you hit him 6 times. If you're Oyster, you want this seed to be over, so you just hit him more out of frustration. But with the cape, he's not going to get hurt. Those fire bats are mostly going to miss him. And I think Oyster's through phase 2 and into the warps.
I can appreciate all that extra punishment he's giving Ganon.
He still misses the Torch Lich.
Shouldn't be a problem this time, as that's 4 hit, or only 3 hits for Oyster there.
He needs to be careful not to fall off the edge.
That's right, but I think he's got this. There's Ganon turning blue. The fire bat's going to hit him, but not too hard, and that's 4 hits.
Yeah,
And
that's
Oyster's
it.
going to finish this up. Shooting off those final arrows in protest to Ganon, and maybe to this seed in general. So good game to him, and major props to him for finishing up this seed. He's going to finish with an official time of 2 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds. GG again to Oyster, and in fact, all of our runners tonight. So, with all 4 runners completed this seed, I think we're going to wrap it up here for tonight. If you've enjoyed what these runners have done for you on stream, if you want to see more of them, again, feel free to give them a follow. Thanks again to Speed Gaming staff for running this, as well as to our trackers. And hey, to Ninban, thanks for coming out tonight and commentating with me.
Hey, thanks, Farion, for the same thing.
Oh, absolutely. It was a joy. If you want to see more Keysanity, because let's face it, who doesn't? As I said, we have over 100 races every single week here on Speed Gaming, Link to the Past Randomizer. On Speed Gaming 4 right now, a match I think just finishing up soon. And on ALTTPR, or ALTTP Randomizer channel, a community-run channel, we've got Jay Coper versus Sidario partway through at this point. If you want to see more races, I think we have one starting at midnight Eastern, and then races starting at noon and running all throughout tomorrow on the Speed Gaming and Link to the Past Randomizer networks. There is Keysanity everywhere for you to see, and if you want, for you to play. I have been Philian. I've been joined by the wonderful Ninban, and I'm going to sign off here for the night. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Good night.